Hey everybody! I've decided to go live for a little bit. We don't know how long I'll be live. I don't know how all this will pan out, if people want to join in or whatever, but I'm going to give it a try. I hit 3,000 subs just a few days ago, so big, gigantic thank you to all of you guys for making that happen. Liking, subscribing, commenting, all of that fun stuff. I asked you guys to submit some questions for a Q&A, so I've got about 7,000 questions from you guys, and I take some live ones. We'll just kind of see where all of this goes. So with that said, I'll answer a few that I already got. If you guys want to throw some my way, I'll go ahead and try to answer them. Hey Durbin, hey Chad, I saw a couple names in there. I said, hey B-Wise, hey Amaria, hey Ninja Warrior, hey Tyler, thank you guys so much for chiming in. Yeah, Tyler's very excited to have made it for this go around, so I'll just kind of kick things off with some of these questions I've pulled aside. I'm also going to do a second one because I'm going to get I have too many questions to do in one video, and some of them I got to do a little bit of homework on. This one I thought just a little bit more free form. Like right there, my dog just opened the door and walked in, so my face is now all washed out. Doggy Bo, you kind of messed up my whole setup. First question, Chandler Langley asked, do you have any thoughts on the Disaster Artist movie coming out? I do have thoughts on that. I'm very excited for it. So is my wife. If you don't know what it is, basically it's a movie about the making of The Room, the movie from about 15 years ago. One of the worst movies ever made. Strong contender is the worst movie ever made. I did a review of it a couple months back. It's an experience to watch it. Hi, Trash Tracker. So they're making a movie all about it from which is getting my Franco, the older of the Franco brothers, stars in it, directed it, his brother's in it, so both Francos are in it. So it's a movie that it looks great, it looks funny, and it's about a very interesting movie. So yeah, I'm very excited about that one. Rich Reviews, who's a patron, asked, is virtual reality the future of movies? No, virtual reality is not the future of movies. It'll be a novelty. It'll be like 3D. Some people like it. Some people hate it. It might be sort of enjoyable for some people, but virtual reality is not going to replace the normal traditional way of seeing movies. It's a gimmick, a cool gimmick, and that's what it's going to be. The Dawn asked, what is my favorite scary movie? My favorite scary movie is Scream. So I reviewed it on my channel, the whole franchise. I ranked them. I did all kinds of stuff all about the Scream movies, but that for me, it came out when I was a freshman in high school, so the Scream Trilogy, the original three, those were the scary movies of my high school days, and Kevin Williamson went on to do a whole bunch of other stuff. So yeah, that's kind of some thoughts, some interesting, that's kind of my thoughts on scary movies. That's kind of where they're at for me, and that's why I reviewed them. You can check that out on my channel all over the place, because I wanted to talk about them, because I wanted to rewatch them, and I wanted to talk about them for my channel. Be Wise, a patron, asked a few days ago when I asked for questions, what movie genre do you want to die? There's no real movie genre that I want to die. Hollywood always has trends. They always kind of, oh, Hunger Games is huge, so people love young adult stuff. Let's do a ton of those. And so then they put a ton of those out, so you get sick of them. The quality drops drastically, and then that genre kind of dies out, and we get new ones. So it pretty continually does stuff like that. There's not a genre that I just hate. Or that I would say I hate in a sense that I think that other people shouldn't. It shouldn't exist. I'm perfectly fine with things existing that I don't like. It's more along the lines of I might just not watch a lot of things out there. So a lot of the young adult stuff, I don't care about it. So there's kind of my thoughts on it. Someone asked, do I have any thoughts on the new Star Trek Discovery show? No, I haven't checked it out yet. I wouldn't check something out like that out on my channel. I wouldn't review it, make a bunch of videos about it. So I have no particular thoughts on Star Trek Discovery at all. Ninja Warrior Superstar, thoughts on the new Arrowverse DC TV seasons? The Flash started off with, once again, undoing the big twist ending of the previous season in the first episode. That's annoying, but they're not setting up a speedster as the new bad guy, so that's good. Arrow didn't kick off with anything that super duper duper annoyed me, so that's good. Supergirl, I've actually been watching this season, and it's been enjoyable enough. It just happens to come on before some other shows I'm going to watch. It comes on an hour before The Gifted, so put Supergirl on while I'm waiting to watch The Gifted. And then Legends of Tomorrow. I guess I watched the second episode, and it was like a reunion of people from Titanic because it had Billy Zane in there, and they cracked a couple jokes where they had Victor Garber, who's the old man on Legends of Tomorrow, in... Those are my kids screaming outside. I was making sure they weren't in agony. Legends of Tomorrow, that was kind of fun. They had a joke in there about the captain of the guy that designed the Titanic. Victor Garber played him in Titanic. So that's kind of I thought that was amusing. But I missed the second season of Supergirl and Legends of Tomorrow. I've seen most of the second season of Supergirl. I've missed most of the second season of Legends of Tomorrow. I think someone asked me what's my favorite of the Marvel Netflix shows. Daredevil, easily Daredevil. No question. It's just... easily that one. Someone asked real quick my thoughts on Spider-Man Homecoming. Funny you should ask that. Actually, rented it from Redbox. My wife wasn't able to see it in the theater with me, so I'm actually going to rewatch it tonight with her, so I'll get her impression. She'll probably love it. It seems like something that she'd probably enjoy a good bit. I thought it was a ton of fun. It's just a nice addition to the MCU, a nice take on Spider-Man. It's just fun. I'm glad they didn't try and put the heavy emotional weight that they've tried to do in a lot of the other Spider-Man movies, and that's a good thing. I'm all for some of the heavy emotion of the Raimi Spider-Man movies, but at the same time, having a fun take I thought was just really nice. Cody the Leech asked if I had to pick right now between watching The Punisher or Justice League, which one would I pick? I'd go to Justice League. Not a matter of which one do I think is better or worse, but just as a matter of pure curiosity. I know what I'm going to get from the Punisher TV show, and I'm going to love it. I'm positive. It's going to be great. It's going to be amazing. I don't know what I'm going to get with Justice League. I just have no idea. Like the idea that they started with a Zack Snyder movie and then Joss Whedon took over. Those guys are so radically different. They're not like in the same category at all of what I would think of like, yeah, totally. These two guys go together. So I'm just so fascinated by what Justice League is going to turn out to be. So Justice League has to be the one that I would pick, picking between the two of them. But I mean, I'm extremely excited about Punisher. I'm a big Punisher fan when it comes to even the crappy movies. I like the crappy Punisher movies. Zach Pope says, what superhero that hasn't gotten a movie yet or show do you want to see? What I would love to see in some context would be a proper way to handle Dick Grayson. I think Dick Grayson is a very fascinating character that gets undersold because people think about him as the boy wonder, but he moved on from being the boy wonder decades ago. He's been Nightwing. He grew up. He became a man. And because of that, there's such an interesting story of a father-son dynamic of this kind of intense, kind of terrible guy, Batman, who's amazing and awesome, but I wouldn't imagine he's a good father. And essentially raises Dick Grayson, who grows up to be a man, and there's all sorts of father-son dynamics in that. And you have Dick Grayson, who's not as jaded and dark of a personality as Bruce Wayne is. That's interesting. I'd love to see some sort of take on Dick Grayson, not as like just the boy wonder, but Nightwing done right. And that's where they've said that they're doing it, and every quote that I've seen about the Nightwing movie has sounded great. Nightfall has asked, have you ever played a Batman Arkham game? You asked me that also in your Q&A a couple days ago. I do have it written down. So have I played any of the Batman Arkham games? I've played 3 of them. 3 of them? I don't think I played the one where you drive around in the Batmobile mowing people down with guns. I haven't played that one, but I played through Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and Origins, and I think it's a great series. I love those games. So I'd have. Hey kids, you trying to get jelly beans?
No, I want to.
Chloe, you always got jelly beans in her hand. Chloe, you snuck jelly beans while I was filming? Oh, parenting. Hey, here, buddy.
Daddy.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying the video.
You don't need that many. That's too many. There. That's like 5. There you go.
There.
We're eating jelly beans. So anyway, Arkham games. Yes, I have played the Arkham games. 3 of them. Rich Reviews asks, have you ever seen the Expanse TV series? No. I think I tried to, but we only watched 1 episode of it. Trash Tracker says, saw you have a guitar. Do you play? Yes, I play guitar. I played in several bands through over the years. It's also in church world not quite a bit. I've done a ton of stuff in kind of worship music and churches that I've been a part of, particularly with working with teenagers and stuff like that. And so I'm not all that great. I've never done anything amazing. I could play my music and you go, hey, you're not awful, but you wouldn't be like, this is great. But I've worked with a bunch of people that have gone on to be full-time worship pastors and done some great music. So I've been kind of more of a coach to people when it comes to music than actually putting out great content myself. All right, a couple questions. Someone asked, what's the worst movie of the year and what's the best movie of the year thus far? I don't like to pick too many favorites when it comes to things, but kind of ones I've really enjoyed this year for wildly different reasons. Dunkirk, The Glass Castle, which a bunch of people hated for very, very personal reasons. That one moved me very strongly. Brawl in Cell Block 99. If you like violent, crazy movies, check that one out. Wonder Woman was a ton of fun. So those are some of the good ones. On the bad side, that Transformers movie was, I mean, it's an enjoyable terrible because it's just so insane, but it's total train wreck of a movie. The Circle, I was about to say The Ring. Well, actually, the Ring movie that came out this year wasn't very good either, but The Circle with the Emma Watson movie is pretty terrible. There's one called The Comedian with Robert Downey Jr. That's the wrong person. Robert De Niro. Two different guys. Didn't care for that one. So those are the ones that kind of come to mind. Nicholas Borg says, Fight Club or Seven? I need to rewatch them. I haven't watched them since I had kids, and a lot of times having kids changes the way you perceive different things in life, and especially one like Seven addresses this concept of kids and bringing them into a dark world. So I haven't really watched either one of them since having kids and softening up as a human being. But I think I'm going to go with Seven. I just felt Seven was a kind of a stronger encapsule of a film. Fight Club kind of hits on a certain, I don't know, anarchy that runs in angsty young men and stuff like that. I liked having fight clubs after it came out. A bunch of my buddies and we wouldn't beat the crap out of each other a lot. But as for a movie with a worldview and stuff, it never connected with me the same level it connected with some other people. But it's still a cool movie. Sorry, guys, I couldn't read what you guys said, and they went off the screen. Someone asked something about Thor. He exists. Cody Leach says, which franchise has gotten more off the rails, Terminator or Aliens? I mean, they both went off the rails after the second one for me. Two series with two amazing first movies, and then they went off the rails. Which one went more off the rails? I find the crappy Terminator movies a lot more watchable than the crappy Alien movies. Like, I don't get much enjoyment out of the crappy Alien movies. I enjoy every single Terminator movie. I enjoy all of them. I can trash them. If you want to like tell me how bad Genesis is, I'll agree with you. Like, I'm not going to try and defend most of the things you'd attack, but I enjoy that movie. Basically for me, I can view the bad Terminator movies, 3, Salvation, Genesis, as fan fiction. And as fan fiction, they're perfectly fine for me. Big, gigantic, professional fan fiction, they're perfectly enjoyable as that. Whereas, like Alien 3, I just watch it and I just hate it. It's like, it's not a poorly made movie in certain senses, but the concept of it drives me nuts. Hercules asks, are you excited for The Disaster Artist? Funny you should ask that. I actually started off talking about The Disaster Artist. Yes, I am excited about The Disaster Artist. Very much so. My wife is too, which is funny. Like, she walked in while I was watching The Room the first time I watched it, and she's like, what are you watching? And then she sat down, and she's been absolutely fascinated with it ever since then. All right, someone asked me, what's the best Michael Fassbender film? 300. Someone asked me, have I seen Taken? If you're talking about the movies, yes, I own all 3 of the movies. I love the first one. The second 2 are messes of movies I can kind of watch. I have watched some of the TV show. I didn't care for it. Just the concept, the way they did it, it didn't work for me. I tried to review some of the episodes. I don't know if I reviewed 1 or 2 episodes or what, but I tried to, but it just didn't connect with me. Trash Trackers, can you play Switchfoot? Not right now. In the past, I knew some Switchfoot, but especially like Dare You to Move and Meant to Live. All that stuff was very big when I was very big into guitar. So could play a lot of that type stuff. Thor Odinson says, did you see Thor Ragnarok yet? Nope. Got to wait till everyone else to go see it. I don't have any special access on that one. Few movies, smaller stuff I can sometimes get some screeners from and stuff, but other ones not so much. The Who Hub says, the Who Hub asks, do you like Doctor Who? No, actually no. I haven't connected with it. I've tried. I've actually tried several times to watch it. I like Torchwood a little bit more. And I've only watched one season of Torchwood, so I don't want to say that like, oh man, Torchwood's awesome. But I watched one season of it because some people told me, I think Children of Men or something like that was really good. So I watched it. It was so dark and messed up, but at the same time, kind of liked it a little bit. So, but Doctor Who, I've only tried to watch the first season of the revival. So some people have told me maybe start later on and try that. Life in Cinema asks, why do you hate Star Trek Discovery? Well, I've made like 2 videos specifically addressing my gripes with it. At the core of the problem I have with it is that it's not, when I think of what the heart of Star Trek is, and when I think of what makes Star Trek, I think of an optimistic view of the future where mankind went through some horrible things during the mid-21st century, and because of the trauma, the wars they went through, they realized they had to progress beyond their petty bickering and become a better version of humans where they learned how to overcome differences and get along with each other and problem solve together. And that leads to kind of the worldview of Next Generation, original series, Deep Space Nine, and all of those shows. But it was very much built on this idea that mankind got better. And then when I watch Star Trek Discovery, it's a show built around the conflict of mankind, the petty bickering. We're still fighting over wars. We don't have this evolved ethic and morality where we're above certain things. The show doesn't have that. It's based around like everybody bickering with each other, having serious issues with each other. It's based around the captain blew up his ship with his crew on it to save them, like making horrible ethical choices and stuff that you wouldn't naturally think these are good ideas. And so because of that, it's hard for me to even watch it and kind of even shut off my purist mindset. I just watch it and I see things and I go, why are you calling this Star Trek? Why would you take Star Trek in this direction? There's a side to it that I'm just like, I don't understand what you think Star Trek is if this is what you made. I don't understand what you think not you guys probably aren't the ones that made it, but I don't understand what they think at the core of Star Trek is that this show would be a continuation of the series that came before, because it's so dark, it's so cynical, to the point that the big discussion is this the mirror universe, which is such like the fact that that's a question is cuckoo, or if people think it's about Section 31, which if it's about that, either one of these is saying that this show is very anti-Trek, and that's where the show just for me loses me. And I don't know what to do with it that they've chosen to take the show in that direction. Otaku22 asks, Rick and Morty, yes or no? No, I've never seen it. I've seen zero episodes of Rick and Morty, and no reason. Everyone started talking about it like 6 months ago or something. I was like, I've never seen this show, so maybe I'll check it out. Back to the Star Trek Discovery one. I'm not going to linger on it, but I want to like it. I really do want to like it. I'm going to continue watching it. I want to be won over. There's some twists and turns that maybe could set things right, but up to this point, I just watch it and I see things that just don't mesh with what I think Star Trek is. And if you called this show a future word, I don't know whatever that means. Perhaps I'd be more open to it, but as is, I'm so confused by what they're doing with it. Sorry, obviously that one's been on my mind a lot. All right, someone asked, are you hyped for Thor 3? Yeah, I mean, I'm always excited for the Marvel movies because they're all fun. Even the bad ones are fun. This one looks like it's so bonkers and wacky that it'll be a ton of fun. So sure, I'm excited for it. At the same time, because there's so many Marvel movies that come out, there's a certain amount level to which it's kind of like, woo. Rich Review says he's burned out, and I'm not burned out, but certainly when there was a time that the comic book movies were rare. We didn't have a lot of them. So when one came out, it was this huge event and a gigantic big deal. Right now, we get 3 we get 3 Marvel movies per year, plus we get 2 DC movies per year, plus we get a couple Fox movies, plus we got a bunch of TV shows. So the uniqueness of comic book movies and superhero stuff is diminished because of that. And so my level of excitement for most specific movies is just kind of dwindled a little bit. Leah Elkins asked, Brother Bear or Meet the Robinsons? That seems like such a random combination. I've never seen Brother Bear, so I've got to go with Meet the Robinsons on that one. Someone asked, do I enjoy The Simpsons seasons 1 through 10? Yes, but I haven't watched them in a long time. I mean, I watched The Simpsons constantly throughout the 90s, so I watched those first 10 seasons multiple times on repeat. Would be graded Simpsons trivia back in the day, and I've seen almost no Simpsons in 10 years. No specific reason, just the way life has worked out. It's just not a show that I've rewatched. But that's kind of my take on it. Cody says, do you think Fox is underrated and ignored in the comic book movie debate? It's always who's better, MCU or DCEU? A little bit. It's kind of, it's this weird offshoot thing that is Marvel, but it's not MCU, so it feels kind of odd. And I mean, certainly debate should be, MCU, X-Men verse, and then going with DCEU. I mean, it should be that, but there you go. It is what it is. All right, let me see what questions. Otaku22 says, do you like Layer Cake? I haven't seen Layer Cake. It's literally been one of those movies that's I've been going, oh man, I need to watch that since before Casino Royale came out. It's been one of those movies that I was like, oh, this guy's going to star in the new Bond. I better check that movie out. And so I bought it 13 years ago. I've owned Layer Cake for 13 years, and then I never watched it because it just kept getting pushed off and for whatever reason. And now looking back on it, it's not, hey man, I need to watch Layer Cake because Daniel Craig's in it, but because it's the Matthew Vaughn movie. I almost rewatched it recently because I was going to rank all of Matthew Vaughn's movies, and I realized I hadn't, like, oh yeah, he directed that. How have I not seen this? How is it still on this list of movies that I really need to watch that I haven't watched yet? So, yeah, that's kind of my take on that one. Sorry if I'm rubbing my nose. Out of nowhere, my nose got really, really, really itchy while I've been filming, so I'm just going nuts, itching my nose. Nightfall asks, Marvel Netflix or Arrowverse? Marvel Netflix. Yeah, Marvel Netflix is definitely the one that I would say the highs are just higher. The lows are probably equal to each other, but the highs are higher with Marvel Netflix, and just kind of the middle of the road stuff is probably just a little bit higher. And the nature of the way they're done, I think, is tricky. Someone asked me, Batman or Spider-Man? Batman all day long. Yeah, I'd go Batman. Batman and Superman might be a competition, but those are the two guys that kind of battle it out on top for me, as opposed to some of those other guys. Life in Cinema, Flash or Daredevil? Absolutely Daredevil. I just love that show a lot. I love what they've done with it. Leah says, what do you think of I missed it. I couldn't get to it in time. I think you asked, what do I think about popular actors being on Netflix and Hulu shows? I think that's the future. I think that Hulu and Netflix are more and more things are going to be drifting in the direction of those shows. Or not those channels, and it's going to change this. Just even looking at the slate of new movies coming out from Netflix, I think that that's going to be something that you can see a change in the way movies are done and what types of movies go where, and it's going to, I think, change the dynamics of things a little bit. And someone just asked me, do I watch Rick and Morty? I just answered that question, but I do not watch Rick and Morty. I've never seen any episode. No particular thoughts on it. Bigger fall from grace, Harvey Weinstein or Bill Cosby? Bill Cosby by 15 miles. Harvey Weinstein never had grace. It's not like he was ever a hero that stood for anything. He was just a rich producer guy that everybody knew he was kind of sleazy. Bill Cosby stood for something. Like, Bill Cosby was a person that throughout his career had established himself as a moral high ground. Bill Cosby had established himself as a person that was speaking to social issues. He designed his shows to be a role model. He positioned himself as a role model, and that's where he had taken his platform that he had. And then what did he do with that? Well, he turns out behind closed doors was apparently a rapist. In which case, that is a fall from grace. That that tarnishes so much of what he did and what he stood for. Like I'm a huge fan of his comedy, and like I can't listen to it anymore because it's just kind of so gross to even. So yeah, there you go. That's kind of the take on it. Chandler Langley says, "Are you aware that Ryan O'Toole is streaming at the same time?" No, was not on my radar at all. There's a lot of people that are probably streaming right now. We do happen to be in the same corner of the internet, but yeah, that's not something that I would be aware of until you now pointed it out to me. I also wouldn't know it because I'm not surfing YouTube right now. Otaku22 says, "What's the best X-Men trilogy?" I think both the First Class and the original one are both... I feel like all three of the trilogies have two that are... What's going on over there?
Mia keeps trying to punch me.
Well, guys, I'm having a parent in video. Liam, are you punching her?
She punched me right here.
Liam. Buddy. No. Stop. Hey, got a parent sometimes. Apparently my kids are punching each other and you got to be there for that. I think I'd have to go with... I don't know. It's a hard one. I did a video ranking the X-Men movies. You'd have to check it out and see what I put on there. I don't know. I couldn't pick one off the top of my head. It wouldn't be Wolverine. Definitely not Wolverine. The other two, I think for nostalgia purposes, I'd probably go with the original trilogy. I think is what I would do with that. All right. You guys got any more questions for me? They disappeared off the screen. I guess did I scare you off when I was... What are you doing? Look outside, my kids are just stacked on top of each other. All right, if they're happy, they're happy. It's working. Other questions? Cody Leach says, favorite thing at Taco Bell? I just get the taco, the 3 taco deal. Leah says, what's your favorite nostalgia movie? Star Wars, Star Trek, Van Damme stuff, and Steven Seagal stuff. Cody Leach says, boring. Yeah, you're not wrong. Anytime they get something that's like jumbo, steak, whatever, I would definitely go for that one. But yes, there we go. Otaku22 says, why do you hate Darrenofsky's Mother so much? I mean, I gave it a negative review, but I didn't give it a scathing review. I gave it a pretty reasonable negative review. My problem with this is I get frustrated by movies that are... I get frustrated by the fan base of movies is really what it is. And so when there's movies that come out and people are like, you just have to watch it 3 times. Oh, you just didn't get the movie. Like, you just didn't get it. Like, you need to watch it again and read some of these articles, and then you'll love this movie. And when the movie come out and people talk to me like that, trying to convince me to like a movie, that's just off-putting to me. Like, I'm not interested in someone telling me how to watch movies and how to like them and what I'm supposed to like. Anyone being condescending, telling me you just didn't get it. Sometimes that's true, and other times I just don't like that kind of thing. I don't want to watch Darren Aronofsky, who's an atheist with a very cynical worldview, make an allegory for biblical creation. Like that is no interest. I have no interest in that at all, like at all. And so that's the reason. And there's things about it I like. The dream, crazy insanity of the third act. I kind of enjoyed that. It's just sitting there like, this is so bonkers. But it's like a nonsensical movie that exists to put a bunch of metaphors together and communicate his wacky ideas. Someone just asked me, do I like Saw or Chucky more? Having in the last 2 months binge watched both franchises, every movie in the Saw series, every single movie in the Chucky series this past week. I'm Chucky by a lot. There's a lot more enjoyment to be had in the Chucky movies than I found in the in the Saw movies. Someone just asked me, dogs or cats? Very easy answer on that one. We are going to go with dogs on this one. Hey, Sadie. Anything you want to say? I had cats growing up. I don't have any real problems with cats, but just the personality of dogs just seems so much more pleasant than cats. Cats are a lot more... Cats think they're the greatest in the world, and dogs think you're the greatest in the world. So I go for dogs because I am the greatest in the world. Sorry, that was probably arrogant. All right, Sean says, can you review Xmas horror comedy film, Better Watch Out? I don't know. I'm not quite sure which one it is. You'd have to message me about it and request it somewhere else, and maybe I can check it out if it lines up with stuff. Someone asked me who's my favorite YouTuber. I don't know. In the scheme of what I do, which is talking about, and Otaku just says favorite YouTube critic. I'll change that and make it YouTube pundit. And of course, it's Cody Leach. Cody Leach is my rival. He surpassed me on the YouTube and subscribers, so my goal is to take him down. So if you guys are subscribed to him, be sure to unsubscribe. Hashtag catching up with Cody. These are all jokes. He's a very good friend of mine. He's a very good friend of mine here on the YouTubes. We never met in person, but on the YouTubes and the social media, very good buddies. So if you haven't subscribed to his stuff, go subscribe. So I'm catching up with you, Cody. If I had to pick a YouTube movie critic or pundit, I would go with John Campea. He's got some quirks to him. About 10% of the time, he's infuriating and insufferable, and 90% of the time, I just think he has the best take by a lot. Like and it makes the 10% where he's just so off the rails, bonkers and stubborn. Frustrating because 90% of the time he's so balanced and better thought through and thinking things holistically, not as a fanboy, not just as someone that has a little piece of information, but as someone really thinking through the different angles of things, as both a movie lover, as someone in the industry, all those fun things. I just line up the most with John Campea in the way he does things, the way he talks about things, the content he likes. John Campea would be pretty safely the pick that I would go with.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Favorite 3D IMAX theater experience? The Mission Impossible, the Ghost Protocol. I saw that one in IMAX, and that sequence in the building in IMAX is the best scene coolest scene I've ever seen in a theater. And seeing it in IMAX. I mean, it's just a tremendously directed sequence. And seeing it in a true, here in Austin, the Bob Bullock IMAX theater. It's like across the street from UT. It's in a museum. It's legit enormous IMAX theater. And that sequence in Ghost Protocol is stunning. I mean, it was remarkable what they were able to do with that one. Bugs. Liam, what are you doing? Nose itching.
All the places fit.
What is it? Oh, magnetic putty? Magnetic putty. Okay, cool.
Cool.
Do you have any metal? Cody Leach says, worst ending to a movie. I don't know. I'd have to think about that one. I don't know. What's one that I hated? You guys, tell me what are the worst endings to movies that you guys can think of. I'm on the spot and have kids asking me about magnetic putty. And, so there you go. Someone just asked, was I disappointed in the Harry Potter movies? I wasn't disappointed in any of the Harry Potter movies because I'm not... Grab that towel right there. My daughter just poured water over her.
No, it didn't.
But Chloe, just grab the towel. Just put the towel on it.
Yeah.
No, Chloe, right there. Right? No, not that one. That one right there. I forgot. Distracted a little bit. Sorry about that. Movie endings. I lost it. I don't know what I was answering. What if you guys can tell me what I was answering? I had a thought that I was working on. It was a great one. It was going to change you guys' lives, and then I lost it. Favorite anime? I haven't watched a lot of anime, so unfortunately I can't really give you a good answer. Oh, Harry Potter, yes. I can't give you. I haven't read any of the books. I'm not a Harry Potter person. It's just not my thing. I'm not going to trash it. I'm not going to tell you you're awful or anything like that. It's just not my thing that I've connected with the way other people have connected with it. And I don't think Voldemort's the greatest bad guy, so I actually have made a video about Voldemort. But so therefore with the movies, I just don't have an opinion as to whether they should excite me, disappoint me, any of those types of things on it. So there you go. Life in Cinema's mini review of Baby Driver. It's a good movie with a cool style that I enjoyed, with a great soundtrack and some cool performances. Cody Leach says, are you going to start making shirtless Stardust reactions like Tyler? Of course I am. And maybe Tyler and I are going to start doing some shirtless Stardust reactions together. Oh, wait, what? Wait, we're live? Uh-oh. Yeah, what is it, Clint?
I didn't push it down. This fell down.
All right, Clint, that's cool. Hey man, I found you when I watched your review of Anna and the Apocalypse. Which high school friend directed it? You should be something. Sorry, I missed it. I didn't see it. It sounded like you said that your high school friend directed it. That's awesome. The director was there at the screening I was at. It was cool. I hadn't heard of it. I didn't know anything about it. Just was at this film festival, and then I was walking in. I think I'd signed up to watch it, and then the whole cast, the crew, start walking down the red carpet, and I was like, wait, am I at the premiere of a movie? And then I walk into the theater and they're like, this is the world premiere of Anna and the Apocalypse. I was like, this is insane. This is amazing that this worked out. And then the movie's really good. I really enjoyed it. And you guys are going to love it when you guys, well, if the idea of a...
This is amazing.
Woo! If the idea of a high school musical zombie apocalypse film sounds amazing to you, you're going to love it. Adele or Taylor Swift? Taylor Swift. I like Adele too. Well, I like a few Adele... I like 3 Adele songs. Taylor Swift basically makes content that is consistently right there, consumable. She is the best at making Taco Bell music. That's music that's very easy to consume, that I very frequently like to consume. And Taylor Swift is probably the best at that right now. Just writing a 4-chord pop song that's just easy to listen to for about 10 years right now. I think she's done that. Cody the Leech asks, most overrated YouTube critic. Who is it?
Daddy.
Yeah.
Actually, when I was putting on the lid, it is flew on the floor.
She's very fixated on this water that's spilled over there and making sure you guys understand that the lid just fell off and flew on the floor, correct? Antique, you just asked favorite YouTube movie. I don't know that I've seen any YouTube movies. Somebody just asked Subway or McDonald's. I eat at McDonald's more, so I guess I'll go with McDonald's. But yeah, Taylor Swift. She's very good at writing 4-chord songs that are just enjoyable to listen to. There you go. Whereas Adele would write more impactful songs, but there you go. If I had to pick something. Cody Leach says, "Who is your most overrated YouTube critic? And which critic do I hate the most?
I do. I do. Batman.
Man, it's tough to say. There's no one that I would say that I, because the ones that I just don't like, I just don't watch. So it's tough for me to be like, Grace Randolph, she's the worst. Because I've checked out a couple of other things and I went, how does she have so many subscribers? But I don't know too much about it. Like all the channels that just focus in on reactions and trailer reactions and TV reactions, I don't understand that culture at all. Like I don't understand why I would want to watch someone watching something. So all those ones seem overrated to me simply because it doesn't appeal to me. But that's not saying it's a bad thing. If that's something you enjoy, I don't have an opinion on what you enjoy. It just doesn't appeal to me. So by the nature of that, they come off overrated for that reason. So I don't have ones that immediately kind of come to mind. So I watch all the stuff, Collider Movie Talk. I could give you my thoughts on each of the people on there. But as for someone that just in and of themselves say overrated, they hate them the most, I wouldn't have thoughts like that. Cody Leach asks, when are you going to do unboxing videos? Well, when I either get free stuff from the studios or when I get a job so I can start buying things again. Then I'll start doing Blu-ray hauls, unboxings, all kinds of crazy stuff. Nah, I probably won't do that stuff. I don't get it either. Just opening stuff and being like, ooh, I don't get it. It's funny to me that like reacting to videos and opening boxes is like those are sub-genres or genres in the realm of things. Blade Runner or Blade Runner 2049? I'm going to go with Blade Runner 2049 is the better movie by a lot. I think it does everything the first one did better. It explores things better. I just like that overall better. So better is going to go to 2049. There you go. Classic Modern Movie Review says, I used to do trailer reactions and then I stopped because I saw no point. So, like, for me, I still do them, but I do them because that's the way that, I want to talk about trailers. That's interesting to me. And the way people, I don't know if you guys saw that, but a bug flew into my eye, and I think I caught it with my blinking. But, like, so with trailer reactions, that's the way people consume media about trailers. The way that if you want people to hear your thoughts on trailers, then what you do is you do a trailer reaction. So that's why I do them, and I try to only do them for ones I actually care about. So like, I didn't think a lot of people were going to watch the Death Wish trailer reaction, but I'm interested in talking about the Death Wish trailer, so I reacted to that one. I stopped reviewing the Thor Ragnarok trailers because I just didn't care about them too much. But like the Star Wars ones, I've done all of those thus far. I probably won't react to the next Star Wars trailer they put out. So those are some of my sort of thoughts on some of that stuff. Someone asked me Han Solo or Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones because he's a lead character, not a side character. Let's see. Jeannie asks, what are you more hyped for, Thor or Justice League? Absolutely Justice League. I'm way more excited, interested, and curious about Justice League than I am Thor 3. Largely, entirely because of not large. It's both because I'm just as characters, Batman, Superman, DC characters, I love them more than I love the Marvel characters, specifically Thor. And then the other piece to it is just the production of Justice League is so weird. It's interesting to me. I'm very fascinated in how this movie's going to turn out in things. So, yeah, there you kind of go. Just Justice League seems more interesting. Nightfall asks, Star Wars or Star Trek? I think it's a silly comparison. I get why people do it because it's, the two ones that have star in the title and spaceships. But beyond that, Star Wars is sci-fantasy and Star Trek is science fiction. Star Wars is modern mythology, and Star Trek is...
Chloe's just making birds fly around her face.
Cool.
It's funny.
That's a good joke. Star Trek is a futuristic progressive utopia where progress past things, and they're using that as an allegory to stress current issues. They're just not the same thing. And so the idea of which one pick, do you like this one or this one? Yeah, I like both of them. I like both of them a lot. Leia asks, what did you think of the 2017 movie Life? I liked it enough, and then I've basically forgot about it until you asked me about it just now. I didn't hate it. It was interesting enough, enjoyable enough, but just not a movie that popped. It wasn't distinctive. If it didn't have the cast that it had, it would just be so forgettable and kind of disappearing, because it just felt like several other better movies. So that was kind of my take on it. Favorite Star Trek Doctor? Gotta go with Bones. Cody Leach, is all of Hollywood about to explode with 20-year-old sexual harassment accusations? To some extent, I kind of hope so. If they can get off all their high horses about everything and stop being so self-important, and now that they're being exposed for how ridiculous they are, and the hypocrisy in so many different things, and both their behavior, the fact that they're sitting on things, suddenly they're outraged about 20-year-old things, outraged about things that happened live on TV shows on MTV that everybody saw. So the whole thing hopefully it just kind of makes them go, wait, we're ridiculous. We should stop being the way that we are. Hey, Chloe.
Daddy, can I have this one?
Where'd it go? Liam, where's the magnetic putty?
Putty.
Chandler Langley says, are there any books that you like to read? The Bible. There you go. I listen to audiobooks in my car all the time. Rich Reviews asks, would you ever run for governor of Texas? No, I wouldn't. I'd be very poor in politics. I have very good ideas. I'm a big picture thinker, so I'd probably have very good ideas. I'm a good public speaker, so I could probably convince some people to like me with my ideas that I can articulate well. However, the actual process of governing is just so painful and slow and other things like that, yeah, that's not for me. Peter Reviews asks, your thoughts on the Edgar Wright movies? I have a video up on my channel where I rank all the Edgar Wright movies, so you can check that one out and hear my quick thoughts on all of them. Someone just asked me about Trump or Clinton, the worst pair of candidates we could possibly have put forward. Congratulations, America. We picked the two worst people to give ourselves the worst possible options to move forward. So either way, we're in a really bad situation. Congratulations, we are morons. That's my take on that one. If you look at my Facebook page, you can figure out pretty quickly which direction I probably leaned on certain, or go with certain things in my About section. Other thoughts. Ryan O'Toole shut down his sabotage ring to join us over here. That's funny, Ryan. Actually, I was filming and shooting this, and sometimes, don't you know that Ryan has his own live stream going on right now? Did you do this intentionally? I was like, no, I picked up my phone because I had a few free minutes, and I started doing a live stream. Jeannie asks, are you planning on doing a Joker acting ranking or Superman? Yes, I plan on doing more actor rankings. It's just all kind of a matter of different times and flows of the season. The last month, I've done a ton of TV reviews because TV shows kicked back up. So I did a bunch of pilot reviews. A lot of those I didn't continue watching, continue reviewing. And so I've just done a lot of TV reviews over the last month. And so then I kicked back on my ranking videos. I'll probably kick those back up. So we'll see. Ryan O'Toole says, sorry about that. No problems. The internet's a very broad space. It's just very funny that the way that worked out and that someone would actually point that out to me, that it happened like that. Cody. Oh, Cody. My phone's about to die and my nose is killing me. I'm so sorry that I've been rubbing my nose. If it bothers you. Liam, where's the metallic putty? Bring it back. Classic reviews. Do you have any negatives for the new Star Wars movies? Do I have any negatives for them as a thing? Absolutely. I think they played it way too safe with the new Star Wars movies. And I think that it feels like they're running things very poorly and reactionary. So I get why they did The Force Awakens super safe. And I'm not going to hold that against them. I get Force Awakens, what they were doing and why they did it. And then Rogue One, that's a pretty safe spin-off movie, but I get it. I get why you did that. Han Solo, I don't get it. It's frustrating to me that they would, like, when they start doing projects and announcing things, and for me, and I look at it and I go, I could have come up with that. I could have come up with what you're coming up with. That's where I start going, what? Like, of all the Star Wars stories they could tell, they picked Han Solo. And I went, not that I'm super totally against it, but, and I'm sure I'll see it, I'm sure I'll like it, but they picked something that I would have come up with. Then the title, Solo. I could have come up with it. You could have come up with it. And then next they're doing Obi-Wan, another one that I could have come up with. And when you look at it and you go, okay, so of the new movies that they're doing, you got The Force Awakens is a sort of remake, rehash of A New Hope. Rogue One is a prequel to A New Hope. Han Solo, prequel to A New Hope. Rebels is a prequel to A New Hope. I just look at it and I go, what are you guys doing? Like, there's so much more you can do with this universe. So much more you can do with this universe. And even the books that they're doing. Catalyst, prequel to A New Hope. Princess Leia, blah, 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 Alderaan. A prequel book to A New Hope. And some of that, it's just frustrating to me that they're just playing it so safe in their directions and a lot of what they're doing. do you think that Murder on the Orient will make you want to grow out the mustache? Yes, but being that my facial hair is not particularly thick, it probably won't work out very well. There's also bald spots in there. I just don't shave very often, so it might look occasionally on video that I know what I'm doing, but I can't. Someone just told me, I think someone asked me to rank Aliens, Predator, and some other things. I don't think I could do that off the top of my head.
This is how big
Mama,
Daddy.
Jeremy asks, do you think Ewan McGregor will return for the Obi-Wan movie? Absolutely. I think if they do an Obi-Wan movie, I think it's 100% contingent on Ewan McGregor returning. If they did an Obi-Wan movie that didn't have Ewan McGregor, they're morons, and I don't know what they're doing. The whole idea of doing it is Ewan McGregor will come back and do it. That's pretty cool. That's of kind of these like, ooh, do you want a Yoda movie? Do you want a Han Solo movie? Do you want a Chewbacca movie? Do you want... The only one I'd be excited about would be Obi-Wan for Ewan McGregor. And I don't want a trilogy. I just want a movie.
Excuse me, Daddy.
Yo.
Liam got a piece of this, and he gave it to me.
Cool.
And right now we're starting to get it bigger.
Somebody asked me, will I rank the Hulk movies? Actually, no, I won't rank the Hulk movies. What I will do, however, is I will rank something involving the Hulks right after Ragnarok comes out. There's 2 Hulk movies, so it's weird to rank them. But I can rank the Hulk actors. Liam, Chloe, Shane says hello from Cody on the internet. So you have people saying hello from Georgia. Oh, goodness, my nose. Someone just asked me my favorite Nick show. I haven't watched Nickelodeon since the 90s, so I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, unfortunately. Sorry about that. I watched tons of them in the 90s, but I graduated high school a long time ago, and I've grown old and senile in my age. Zachary Milkus says, hi. Hi to you as well. I'm probably going to end very soon. Sorry about that. So if you got a question, probably want to throw it in real quick. Final things on there. Jeannie says, there's actually some in the 80s with Lou Ferrigno. Yep, I know. I am a well... Actually, I have a video I put out. One of the cooler videos on my channel. It's on, I think, 11 forgotten Marvel movies. And I talk about that one. I talk about the David Hasselhoff, Nick Fury movie. I talk about the old Captain America movie. I talk about the old Fantastic Four movie. So I talk about those Lou Ferrigno ones. But so those Lou Ferrigno movies, those are going to factor into something I'm looking to do with my channel. The reason I wouldn't include them the way I would the other ones is because they weren't put out in the theaters. They were television movies, and that's some of my restrictions on that one. Otaku22 says, Breakfast Club or Stand By Me. I've seen almost all of the Breakfast Club, and I've never seen Stand By Me. Sorry, Cody, about that. Very sorry. Cody Leach says, who's crazier, Truckee trolls or Star Trek trolls? I haven't been trolled yet by Chucky trolls, so I don't know how bad Chucky trolls are. Star Trek trolls, holy cow! There's some nut bars out there, like homophobic, racist. I'm a Trump voter. This is why America's collapsing. America's full of idiots. All of this because of my views, because I don't like Star Trek Discovery. Very weird stuff. They kind of up with new like Trump trekkers. They've got all sorts of terms for it, out of nowhere. Like I don't even know what this stuff is I'm watching. It's crazy. These Star Trek people, insults. Incest, accusing me of incest, it's bonkers. So Trek people are, I'm going to call them out as the worst ones, but I just haven't had any of these Chucky people try and kill me yet. All right, I'm going to close this one out. Jeannie says, rank all 4 Fantastic Four movies. I want to. I'm planning on doing all 4 Fantastic Four movies. One of these days when I got some time to do it, I got a nice little window. I do plan on going all the way back to the Roger Corman one, through Fan 4 Stick, all that stuff. So we will see what happens. Someone says, I deserve 13,000 subscribers. Thank you. I very much do appreciate that one. Bye to Leon Land, Other Sean, Qui-Gon Jinn, Cody Leach. Thank you guys all so much for chiming in, having a fun chat. We almost made an hour before my phone died and my nose made me go crazy. Classic modern movie reviews. Who's one of my favorite YouTube movie reviewers? We already talked about that one. It's John Campia. And that will be our closing question for the day. And Oh, Cody Leach says, stop doing cocaine. How am I supposed to keep talking at this level of intensity while parenting my kids, while trying to think, if I'm not hopped up on cocaine? It's a simple formula. If you want to be... Wait a minute. What am I confessing to right now? Probably shouldn't say all of that. All right, talk to you guys later.